Moving on to the group pick for game of the week this week actually is going to be the Colts versus the Texans. It's going to be pretty exciting because the Colts usually play the Texans very, very well, especially in Houston. I believe they've won two of the past ones, if not just last year. I can't remember off the top of my head. But CJ Stroud has been struggling a lot recently. This is a division game. Colts are going to get up for it big time. They're going to get after CJ. I don't know what's wrong with the Texans' offensive line right now, but it's not looking good at all. And CJ really, that offense really only clicks passing the ball if Nico Collins is in there. He just hasn't found it with Stephon yet consistently enough, and he has not got it with Tank Dell, especially last week.
Yeah, no. CJ has not played well, and CJ hasn't really been playing well. This Colts defense is they roll over quite a bit. This Colts defense is not as good as it was touted up to be at the beginning of the season. And
That's been like the past
offensively,
7 years against the Texans, though.
they have
That's what
been.
they
They
do.
have been.
They come up.
I
They
mean,
come up for division games.
it's a division rivalry game. They're going to get up for it for sure. And offensively, they don't perform well with Anthony Richardson at the helm. Now, part of that can be left up to Jonathan Taylor not being in the lineup. It's still yet to see fully be determined if he will be with the team this week or not. I do believe that he has been practicing and has been out the last 3 weeks. So hopefully, at least for my fantasy teams, he's back in the lineup, and hopefully for Anthony Richardson as well, because that is a big piece of keeping the passing game working for him. If you
Hey, at least
are
he got paid.
at least he got paid. Jonathan, or not Jonathan, Josh Downs. Now that Anthony Richardson is back, do not expect for him to be involved as much as he had been. That was a type of receiver that Joe Flacco really liked to play with. He had the characteristics and the way that he ran his routes. That was very consistent for Joe Flacco with the type of style that he plays with. With Anthony Richardson back in the lineup, Josh Downs just it doesn't suit his style. So look for Michael Pittman to be involved. Look for
Alec
I'd
Pierce,
like to
big time
say
involved.
look for Adonai Mitchell to be involved, maybe on some deep balls, but realistically, he has not been involved at all this season. So hopefully, for the Colts' sake, if they want to keep it a close game, Jonathan Taylor is playing. Otherwise, this one will be over early because that defense is not. It just hasn't been good enough this season.
I I disagree with you there. I think it'll be close, and if they pull away, they're gonna pull away late. It's gonna be a great game.
With the way that the Texans
Division.
played last week, with Joe Mixon getting shut down, with Stephon Diggs not playing well, with Tank Dell going what 0 for 3, 0 for 4. These guys are looking for a big bounce back game. Like I said, the defense for the Colts not very good. Maybe Anthony Richardson can keep it tight on offense. I don't expect really either defense to. I don't expect the Colts defense to hold down the Texans, even with the woes that they have had. They're all on offense looking for a bounce back game, the Texans, and this is probably going to be it.
I sure hope so, man. They look so pitiful out there this year. It's just
But I mean, their schedule has also been really tough. Like the Texans have gone against some of the
yeah,
top
yeah,
defenses in the
but
league already.
I understand it's sophomore year, sophomore slump, and all that, but CJ has not looked good. I expect a lot more out of him this season, at least to weather some of that storm. And if he doesn't have one guy in, he can't do it. I think he's a better quarterback than that, and he should start playing like that as well. I think he's gonna have the biggest bounce back of everybody.
No, I sure. I mean, yeah, they didn't play the Jaguars very good, but like they play the Colts in week 1, and they win by 2. They play the Bears, and that defense we know is very good. Then they play the Vikings
They weren't
away.
clicking then. They weren't clicking all the way there. The Vikings
Who
game they did
the
not play
Bears?
okay.
No, no,
Bears
no.
defense was not clicking all the
The
way there.
Vikings defense is scary.
Yeah,
The Jags, they win. It's also a divisional game, so understand that they beat a good Bills defense. They blow out the Patriots 41-21, and then play against a very good Packers team who also has one of the better defenses in the league. Like every week but two here, three, they've played top defenses in the league. So and it really doesn't get a whole lot easier for them when they're playing against defenses. I think it's just going to be a rough year for them. I think it's just going to be a rough year for CJ Stroud, but they're still coming away with these close wins or close battles with these tough defenses. So I think it's just more of a pedestrian season because CJ Stroud isn't putting up the numbers like he was last year. But same thing can be said for Patrick Mahomes. He's playing very pedestrian, but still walking away with wins. Unfortunately, that's not the case for the Texans, but their defense also isn't the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Not even close.
I hope it's a good game. I think it will be just because it's a division rivalry, but I do think that from the stats perspective, I should say, is going to look very good for the Texans. I think it's going to be a bounce back game. Stephon Diggs has, 8 catches for well over 100, and Tank Dell probably gets 5, 6 catches for 80, 90 yards.
Joe Mixon over 110 yards rushing.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully Anthony Richardson's good enough to keep the wheels turning as well.
Or he just gets injured again and Joe Flacco comes in and saves the day.
That's the only hope that the Colts have.
It's sad. It's sad.